Before the headlines, before the slogans, before the sanctions, there was water. There was law, there was memory, a plateau of stone and salt, mountains that trap snow, then release it slowly. Deserts that punish mistakes quickly. Iran is not only a state, it is a long experiment in survival. So the question is not, why is Iran complicated? The question is simpler. What kind of civilization forms when the land itself refuses ease? This is where it begins. Start with the ground, hard soil, dry wind, a sun that evaporates plans. On the Iranian plateau, the first enemy is not an army, it is distance between people and water. A village can sit within sight of mountains and still live on the edge of thirst. So people work downward. They do not pray for rivers, they build them underground. A shaft is cut, then another in a line across the plain. Men climb down with lamps and tools. They scrape and lift soil upward in baskets. They measure slope by instinct and experience. Too steep, the tunnel collapses. Too flat, the water stalls. What emerges is a Qanat, a hidden channel that carries mountain water to lower land. It is quiet technology designed for endurance. And this pattern repeats itself in almost every great human solution. Problem: water is rare and exposed water is stolen by heat. Human response: move water in darkness beneath the sun. System: a maintained network of shafts, tunnels, labor, and knowledge. Consequence: agriculture becomes predictable in an unpredictable climate. Bigger shift: settlement stops being temporary. A village is no longer only a cluster of tents, it becomes a fixed promise. Water changes behavior. Behavior creates rules, because once water flows, someone must decide who digs, who repairs, who receives water first, who pays for collapse. This is where governance starts, not in palaces, in maintenance. And in places like Yazd, the same water could cool houses. A Qanat paired with a wind catcher can drop indoor heat, not through luxury, but through design discipline. Survival becomes engineering. Engineering becomes culture. Culture becomes identity. This is where individual skill begins to shape an entire community. Picture the first specialist, not a king, a water master. someone who knows soil layers, someone who hears the hollow sound of a bad shaft, someone who can predict flow by season. One person's skill becomes a community's security. When skill concentrates, communities organize around it. They schedule labor, they store tools, they teach apprentices. A system appears without needing a flag. But when communities grow larger, they begin to transform into cities. Now scale it. A city is a place where strangers depend on each other daily. Strangers need signals. They need shared time. They need predictable exchange. So cities build markets, then weights, then measures, then records. A city cannot remember with voices alone. It needs writing. And once a city writes, it can tax. Once it can tax, it can build. Once it can build, it can command. And once cities expand across distance, they evolve into organized systems. Empires are not born from speeches. They are born from logistics. The Achaemenid rulers did not only conquer land, they organized distance. They divided territory into provinces. They installed officials. They built roads that made orders travel. The royal road linked major centers like Sardis and Susa. It was a physical answer to a political question. How do you rule what you cannot see? When these systems stabilize across vast territories, they begin to form civilizations. A road is not only stone and dust. A road is permission. It permits trade. It permits inspection. It permits a message to arrive before rebellion spreads. Along that road, the empire used relays, couriers on horseback, switching mounts, carrying sealed orders. This is not romance, this is control through speed. Herodotus described the relay discipline with admiration. Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor darkness stops the messenger. And eventually, every civilization develops something deeper, a philosophy. Now something subtle happens. When a society can move water, goods, and orders reliably, it starts to believe in order itself, not only as a tool, as a moral idea. A worldview forms where structure is sacred, where truth must be guarded, where chaos is not just danger, it is sin. Halfway in, the texture darkens, because systems do not stay neutral. Once an empire can administer, it can also extract. A road that carries messages can also carry soldiers. A ledger that counts grain can also count debts. A courthouse that settles disputes can also enforce hierarchy. Power becomes layered, not simply a king, but a network. Officials, scribes, inspectors, storehouses, seals, archives. A bureaucracy that outlives personalities. And with bureaucracy comes law as a machine. Law defines property. Property defines class. Class defines who is protected first. Knowledge becomes political. If you control who can read records, you control what can be proven. If you control what can be proven, you control what counts as reality. Now shift forward. Modern Iran is often described as both republican and clerical. It contains elected institutions, president and parliament, but also unelected oversight bodies that narrow what elections can change. The Guardian Council reviews legislation and supervises elections, including approving or disqualifying candidates. CNNA describes the council as 12 members, with half appointed by the supreme leader and half selected through parliamentary processes. Above this is the supreme leader's constitutional dominance in security and defense. PBS describes the supreme leader's control over defense, security, foreign policy, and key appointments in the judiciary. And the Assembly of Experts, formally tasked with selecting and overseeing the supreme leader, is described as an elected body, yet one that rarely challenges the leader in practice. This is not a sudden invention. It is a recurring Iranian theme: a visible government and an inner scaffolding, a public face and a protected structure behind it, a political curtain. In a small house, a woman kneads dough. Her hands move with trained economy. Flour dusts the air, then settles. A child watches, silent, learning rhythm. Outside, the courtyard holds a thin line of shade. A basin is filled from a channel that arrived without being seen. Water does not roar here. It appears. It is cool, even in heat, because it traveled underground. In another age, in another courtyard, a scribe presses a seal into clay. Not poetry, not philosophy, a receipt, a ration, a record that proves someone exists in the system. Empires are usually narrated through kings, but they are maintained through ordinary precision. The Persian soul is not only pride, it is discipline under pressure. Every system has a weakness. Sometimes it is the weather. Sometimes it is succession. Sometimes it is cost. Qanats demand maintenance, roads demand security, bureaucracy demands trust that records are worth keeping. When stress rises, corners get cut. A tunnel collapses and stays collapsed. A tax becomes heavier because the treasury is anxious. A provincial official delays wages. A messenger arrives late. Instability is not always loud. It is often cumulative. Invasions exploit fatigue. When Macedonia arrives under Alexander, it meets an empire with deep structure, but also deep dependence on continuity. Later, Arab conquest brings a new sacred language, new legal frameworks, new centers of learning, and Iran adapts by absorbing and reshaping. Then Mongol pressure shatters cities and trade routes, and reconstruction takes generations, not months. In the modern era, pressure can be economic rather than cavalry. Trade restrictions bite slowly, currency confidence frays, a family budget becomes a political document, and every government under stress learns the same lesson. Security grows more important than comfort. Control grows more important than persuasion. The curtain thickens, not overnight, by increments. Iran does not only endure, it transmits. First, water. Qanat technology spread beyond Iran through conquest and later through Islamic expansion, reaching places as far as North Africa and parts of the Mediterranean world. Then, administration. The royal road and the relay courier logic established a model, standardized movement of orders across distance. The BBC notes the Persian system's horseback relays and speed, a principle recognizable in later state postal structures. Then, political imagination. Consider the Cyrus cylinder. It is a royal inscription from Cyrus's era, often discussed in modern times as a human rights charter. But the British Museum cautions that such a concept would have been alien to Cyrus's context. That caution matters because legacy is not only what we praise, it is what we repurpose. The Persian inheritance moves through others. Achaemenid governance influences how later empires think about provinces. Hellenistic kingdoms learn administration on Persian ground. Rome inherits the obsession with roads and legal uniformity. Islamic dynasties inherit Persian bureaucratic culture and court practice, often using Persian administrators, Persian language forms, Persian urban habits. Then Europe inherits the concept of the state as an archive, not only a ruler, a memory system. And now, in the modern world, we live inside that inheritance. Every passport office, every property registry, every standardized form, a descendant of a scribe's seal. Slow down. Iran has been conquered. Iran has been converted. Iran has been sanctioned. Iran has been romanticized. Iran has been feared. But Iran has also been continuous. Not because it stayed unchanged, because it kept translating itself. They built Qanats because the land demanded humility. They built roads because distance demanded discipline. They built bureaucracy because scale demanded memory. They wrapped power in structure. They guarded structure with legitimacy. They argued legitimacy with faith, law, and history. And we, outside looking in, often mistake the curtain for the whole room. We see slogans, we see uniforms, we see nuclear headlines, we see negotiations. But behind every modern argument is an older question. How do you keep a society coherent under pressure? They built answers in stone and clay, in tunnels and roads, in courts and councils, in archives and rituals. We inherited the methods, even when we deny the source. We inherited the idea that administration is destiny, that legitimacy is engineered, that survival is a form of intelligence. And perhaps the most uncomfortable inheritance is this: a civilization trained by harsh geography will not easily trust soft promises. It will trust systems. It will trust continuity. It will trust what can survive the drought. If you want more stories like this, subscribe. Some nations live in the news. Iran lives in the long memory.